Okay, my name is Boago Poloko. I go by B, and I'm one of the co-founders of Elephant Havens Wildlife Foundation. Elephant Havens is a wildlife foundation. It's an elephant orphanage, and our mission is to protect and preserve the African elephant through community outreach, research and information sharing, habitat protection, and of course hand-rearing of orphan baby elephants. And so at the moment we've got about 9 babies, 5 females and 4 males, and a team of 23 staff. So we are located on the northwest of Botswana, just on the outskirts of Mound, and right at the tail of the Okavango Delta. We're sitting on the Gomuti Channel. During the flood season, the floodplain in front of Elephant Havens tends to be a giant swimming pool for our baby elephants. The infrastructure that we have here, we have the lab, which is a very important thing. I mean, when we started, the baby would arrive, take samples, send them into town. By the time you get the results, it's too late. So now we have the lab. When a baby arrives, we take samples. Within an hour, we've got all the answers. And we've got an elephant kitchen where we prepare the milk for the babies. We have 4 babies that are drinking milk at the moment. What you see behind me here, these are elephant enclosures. We call them bomas. I'll show you their enclosures. This is Mopani vegetation that we engaged a community member to go out and cut for our babies. This is the most favorite food for elephants. It's one of the trees that we have here in Botswana, and elephants love it. And so we bring it in for them to eat at night. So we're about to put the babies to bed. And this is Lerumo, and she knows her room, so she's going to come and walk straight into her enclosure. Come girl, come girl, good girl. This vision came a long way because my dad and my grandfather were both elephant handlers, and growing up, I grew up, just followed in their footsteps and ended up at Abu Camp being an elephant handler. Abu is not an elephant orphanage. We were not allowed to rescue orphan baby elephants to bring them in. So I witnessed a lot of baby elephants that were left behind, that the mothers have been poached or mothers have been killed by farmers and couldn't find help. And to me, this was a terrible thing to watch. And I was working at Abu Camp when I met Deborah and Scott. Deborah and Scott, to me, these are very special people. I mean, they are mother and father figure to me. Fell in love with Abu, they fell in love with the team, came back a lot of times. Mid-2017, I approached Deborah and Scott and told them about my vision, about the dream of having an elephant orphanage, and asked them if they could help. And they immediately said, of course, we would love to help. And here we are today. The approach wasn't easy. There were a lot of hurdles on the way. I had to approach the government of Botswana and Department of Wildlife and National Parks. Decision was made, and yeah, that was on the 18th of December 2018. And 2 days later, we were called for our first orphan. And on the 23rd of December 2018, I brought that baby here, and her name is Mamotsi. Mamotsi means haven. She's kind of the star of the show. She's the matriarch, and I mean, I've worked with many elephants myself, and I think she's just the best elephant I've ever worked with. Elephant handlers are very important, as we all know that, and these handlers are very passionate and got so much love for elephants. These babies come in stressed, traumatized, and they need to learn to love and trust again. And these guys spend time, dedication to make sure that these babies recovers, and it's cool. I think everyone loves or wants to be an elephant handler.
So my name is Kilabe Julisibedi. I'm a local from Shorobe, and I'm the first female elephant handler, and I've been with Elephant Havens for 1.5 years. I would say my emotional bond with the elephants is pretty much human-like. Being amongst the only 2 existing female elephant handlers, I would like to inspire young girls to work here, and I'd like to tell them that if you put your mind to something, it's definitely going to work. It's just about your mindset.
Orphan baby elephants stay here at the nursery until they are 5 years. Then we move them to the soft release area because they've been getting all the support from the elephant handlers. When they get to the soft release area, they will then just be there by themselves. We'll just have to monitor them either by a microchip or by a collar, and it will be time for them to learn to be more independent without the help of the handler, and there'll be zero human contact. And they stay there for 5 years and release them in the Okavango Delta. They still remain our responsibility for another 10 years of monitoring and making sure that they don't go back to the communities where they can be conflict. Elephant Havens is not about just raising orphan baby elephants. It's part of our mission, but also we are in an area where there's a lot of human-elephant conflict. Communities have to benefit from the elephants, and it's a matter of looking in the community, then you identify a problem. I learned that people from the community were suffering from kidney issues, and this is drinking water directly from the river, from the rain pan. So we drilled a borehole. That was our first community project. Now the community has a clean drinking water, and interacting with the community a lot, we realized that we need to empower especially women in the community. So we approached the chief, told him about the idea that we would love to start an elephant dung paper project. There's 9 baby elephants here, so they produce a lot of dung, so you can imagine. And now they've taken the opportunity and actually ran away with it. They make journals, they make photo albums. I've actually had a meeting with the Minister of Education so that we can get the paper in the schools as well. Driving along the road from town to Shorobe, there's a big elephant corridor, and that's an area where kids walk to school, and we noticed that these kids need to be looked after. We bought a school bus. And we also bring in school kids to elephant havens to educate them about conservation. These are the future leaders. These are the youngsters that we need to engage because they need to learn to do things differently from our generation. Elephants are just like us humans, got different characters like we do. You just have to be there and watch the elephant, and eventually you will know their character, and very emotional animals as well. Our plan is to have these orphan baby elephants to be ambassadors for those in the wild, and for the communities to accept wild elephants. There has to be education, educating the youngsters that are coming up, the upcoming generation, and making sure that they are engaged in conservation and learn to protect and preserve our wildlife. As I always say, I feel very privileged because I wish all the donors could actually be there and witness how this is life-changing.